All right. Hello, everybody. We are live. The Kenny Wallace Show. There he is. Herm, the Herminator. Kenny Wallace. I am Charlie Marlow. We said, you know what? We're going to do a live show because it's Daytona week. Herm, there's so much going on. There's the good. There's the bad. There's the ugly. There's the drama. There's racing every night and people love it. And first of all, how the hell are you, sir?
Buddy, I'm doing really good. We've been doing coffee with Kenny. And of course, I went to Europe. I went to Daytona. We raced at Volusia. That Sunoco dirt car was fast, ran real good. Now, we didn't get a gator. That was a little disappointing, but we sure did show up. And we were super fast on the last night. But yeah, I'm watching the ARCA race right now. And it's a good race, but they are loose. They are trying to reckon Charlie. They have only went 40 laps in 1 hour. They have been racing for a little over an hour, and they've gone 40 laps. And the breaking news is that Cletus McFarland, who has 4.1 million followers on YouTube, Cletus McFarland has wrecked out, and but he'll make a good YouTube special out of that. But they're bopping and weaving, and they even have Elio Castroneves is running 16th, and that's a whole nother story. So that's what I have for you right now. I'm doing good.
All right. Cletus McFarland, by the way, we got to get him on Kenny Conversation. He might be the one person that people ask for more than anybody else in the comments that you need to interview.
And I think we can get him, and here's why. Because he's really good friends with Greg Biffle. And I don't know if I ever got his phone number from Biffle. Let me see. Now, you know what's great about this is that when he went to NASCAR, he had to use his real name. So his real name is Garrett Mitchell. And Cletus's family is really wealthy. But he dumbed his name down so people wouldn't be mad at him. So he called himself Cletus. I'm Cletus McFarland. His real name is Garrett Mitchell. Comes from a very wealthy family. And now I know why. Because he's very smart. And like I said, he got 4,140,000. He's killing it on YouTube. So he's doing it right. But yeah, he's out. He wrecked out. And, Charlie, Cletus got in trouble right away with NASCAR. This morning I saw Cletus's post on YouTube. He says, NASCAR's already put me, Cletus McFarland, on probation. NASCAR told Cletus, you cannot use your own camera inside the race car because that's banned because other teams can see some of your data. Yeah. It's always been banned. You just can't do it. Well, he did it and didn't really realize the rules. So, but he admitted his fault. And so poor Cletus already on probation by NASCAR for breaking the rules, trying to create his own. He come to Daytona with his own cameras ready for YouTube. But NASCAR knows they need Cletus. So they said, Cletus, you're on probation. We're mad at you. However, we will put our own camera in your car and we will provide you the footage. So Cletus McFarland and NASCAR working together. So it's all good.
All right. Well, speaking of good, we have a bunch of good things, Herm. Okay. We have a few bad things. Where do you want to start? We can work backwards from last night. I mean, there was a ton of news earlier in the week, right before qualifying as well. I'll throw it to you. Where would you like to start?
Well, I feel like people like juicy things. And in business, they say, look, tell me the bad first. Let's get it out of the way. So because of that thought process, because there's so much good going on, right? Let's end with the good. Let's let people walk away from the Kenny Wallace Show with the good. Let's get the bad. I would say the controversy. Didn't see that coming. Let's get that out of the way, Charlie.
Okay, so are you talking about last night first with Kligerman? Are you talking about Eric Jones? Because we got some options here.
We really do. Um, you know, they wrecked again. Big wreck. Sorry.
All good.
Oh my God, I can't help it. Okay, so you want to go? I mean, we can go in chronological order. I tell you what, it doesn't matter. When you tell me, then we'll check it off. So you're the boss. Go ahead and go.
All right, let's start with the Eric Jones, just because that's the Cup guys, obviously. So you have the duels, and we can get into the fact, obviously, it's the big week for Dale Jr. and Justin Allgaier gets in, and Bubba Wallace wins the first duel. But then the second duel, and we've had this now twice this week. We've had a driver with both Eric Jones and then Cleargerman last night celebrating victory lane. They got the trophy, whatever it is. They got they have the checkered flag at least. And then nope, not so fast. So, and it was pretty funny. It sucked for Eric Jones, but you're watching him, you're seeing him. He's looking at the camera. At that point, he probably knows there's a decent chance they're going to take that win from him. And of course, the caution, it came out, and when it did, Austin Cindric was ahead. So no win for Eric Jones. And I remember on Coffee with Kenny, you said you didn't really love that decision.
So first of all, what you said was key. When they were showing Eric Jones, he knew he didn't win the race. you know that, right? Let me just say this. The reason we all wanted Eric Jones to win, because the number 43 at Daytona, that's key. We know Bobby Hamilton has won in the 43. We know the 43 has won. But the number 43, Richard Petty, has not won at Daytona since 1977. It was really good to see that, Jimmy Johnson owned a team. That's another story. Jimmy Johnson owns that team now, Charlie. He said that the original owner just wanted to relax. I saw the press conference. So Jimmy Johnson reports that the original owner just wanted to relax and enjoy it. He didn't want to get involved in, making the team better. And I heard that the new legacy team, basically with Jimmy Johnson and of course, Eric Jones, that nobody even knows anybody because they cleaned house over there. So the Eric Jones car is, as of right now, quicker because Jimmy Johnson, our 7-time champion, cleaned house. And that's what they said on an interview, and Jimmy answered it. So, and then along with that came that, hey, yeah, what is it? The original Gallagher is the original owner. Maury. Yeah. Maury said, look, man, I just want to smoke cigars and have a drink and watch y'all race. So that's the reason that 43 was up front, because I think Jimmy Johnson's got all his buddies in there. But, it was a hell of a finish coming to the start-finish line. Now, let's talk. I give you the backstory on why the 43 was running good, right? They come to the start-finish line. They're wrecking their butts off. They throw the caution. I don't know. Maybe a football field, maybe a half a football field before the start-finish line. It's very clear that Austin Cindric is still in the lead. And, it was very disappointing. I didn't like the ruling because it was a bummer. They ruled right. It was the right rule. It was the right rule, but it doesn't mean at that moment we can't say, that sucks. So, and then, of course, I went on my rant on Coffee with Kenny because, and I still feel the same way about this Eric Jones loss. We wanted the Eric Jones car to win. But if NASCAR had not done that, somebody would have been saying, you should have thrown the caution. You're not consistent. Then you have Mark Martin come out and go, look what happened to me. Mm-hmm. They didn't throw the caution while I was leading, or, vice versa. But I reminded everybody where the rule came from. It came from Dale Jarrett spinning out at Loudon. And back in the day, the caution come out and you would race all the way through the wreck, almost running into cars that are wrecked. And we used to race back, Charlie, to the start-finish line. It was absolutely pandemonium. It was insane. So NASCAR invested, $20 million. And they put all these lines on the racetrack with digital lines, all these cameras. And they said, okay, when the caution comes out, y'all let off the gas and we'll figure it out in the tower. So I was pissed off on Coffee with Kenny because I said, man, it was a great night. Well, because of the very last 50 foot of one race, everybody's like, I hate NASCAR. I'm like, oh my God, people. It was a great night. It was a great night. You know, Bubba Wallace wins over here. It was side by side. Dale Jr.'s in the race with Justin Allgaier. That was great. That was great. Then we go to the second duel, and it's pretty much a photo finish. And now everybody's, because of that one deal, I hate NASCAR. I'm like, people, you're already starting off on the wrong foot. So I've addressed it. We wanted Eric Jones to win, but the rules, listen, I can see both sides. I can see people going, don't pay attention to the rules. And I can see people saying, you got to be consistent. So that's what happened. And,
so to me, it kind of reminds me of the opposite though. So remember last year when you had the race manipulation stuff at the end, what was that? That was Martinsville. Remember at the end of the race, it was pretty obvious with the cameras. They were on Christopher Bell. They were on William Byron. It was pretty obvious that the winner was not yet determined. And I don't like to rip on TV broadcasts because I worked in TV for a long time and so did you. And it's a hard job. But I do think part of it, and maybe the letdown for fans, is if they're hearing on TV and they're seeing on TV that there's a winner. And I know this is a very tough spot, but I feel like sometimes if a broadcast crew knows there's a chance there might have been a caution, if they're a little less definitive in their call at the end and they go, okay, wait, folks, there's a wreck behind. We got to check the caution, make sure this is good. I think when you hear Eric Jones won, when you see him celebrate, you see him grab the checkered flag, it's so much more of a letdown. And I just thought of this because last year when we're watching for 20 minutes, which was too long, but we're watching Christopher Bell and we're watching William Byron, it at least prepared the audience for knowing they didn't know yet who was going to, when I say win the race, I mean advance to Phoenix last year. That's what I meant.
Yeah. First of all, I hear you loud and clear and I agree with you. And I have addressed this. I said 2 years ago, whatever you do, don't figure this out on Wednesday and say who the winner is. I said, stay longer on the broadcast. Martinsville was perfect because they kept everybody on TV live for 10 minutes. And they said, okay, this is it. And when we all turned the TV off at Martinsville, that was that. Okay. So now I know what you're talking about on the duels where, Eric Jones is the winner. And then all of a sudden you hear Clint Boyer go, hold on, guys. I don't know this is happening. Because now they're hearing things. Yeah. Maybe Clint should have not said anything. Maybe I don't know the backstory. Did Eric Jones go to victory lane? Not victory lane, but did Eric Jones go to the front straightaway by himself?
Okay, yeah.
Did his team say, go to the front straightaway? Something made Eric Jones go to the front straightaway. Somebody.
Yeah.
Most likely his team. Okay. So, but I do say that NASCAR did get it right at Martinsville last year because I said they should do that. I said, make a separate show out of it. Instead of NASCAR victory lane, it's, and that's what we used to do. We used to go to, the race was over. Now let's go to victory lane. So they did get it right. But listen, we are in a tough era right now. We're in a very, very tough era. I mean, in such a strange way, right? Now, I know this is not the same thing, but I mean, there's a camera on every street corner. You pick your nose nowadays, and they're like, look, he's picking his nose. He's picking his, I mean, everything is on show right now. And everybody's getting criticized right now. I do not want NASCAR's job because the only way they can do this is just relax the rules and say there's no rules. That's the only way we can get away with it. But then people be complaining again because we have this new era. This is new. Remember in NASCAR, there used to be no complaining. It was a free-for-all. We would cheat our cars up, and it was fun. And nowadays, there's rules for everything. So
Yeah, and
it's tough.
I also think last night, the Kligerman deal was in a way even worse. And I'll be the first one to admit I didn't watch the race, but I was following it on my phone. But again, this one reminds me of something also. It kind of reminds me of way after the fact when you see the tweet about Alex Bowman's car, right? Where like the race is over, you're done watching, you're done even watching on TV. You sit on your couch after dinner an hour later and you read on X, oh, Alex Bowman's car didn't pass inspection. He's out of the playoffs. Joey Logano's in. I think in a weird way, it's almost worse when you do victory lane, you do everything. It's almost like the broadcast. And I don't know if the broadcast was over, to be honest with you, but it was late. It was obviously much later after inspection. And it's like, oh, no, Parker Kligerman, he actually didn't win at all. Like you didn't see what you saw.
So that's a great thought. Do we not do post-race inspection? Because they've already inspected the cars before the race. See,
Right.
I'm a big proponent of we inspected the cars before the race. Okay, it's over. But that's hard because at Daytona and Talladega, you can do chassis adjustments with the wrench. Like at Daytona, if you can lower the rear of the car, Charlie, you can lower the rear of the car at Daytona and pick up a second because you're getting the spoiler out of the air, right? But you know, NASCAR has got to give you leeway to, like if I'm loose, you can put one round in the left rear. That's called putting wedge in. You can take one round out of the right rear. So, you know, it's a tough scenario. You know, you got to give them adjustments during the race because they got to make their car handle. So here's what I say. And they used to do it with our spoilers. When a race is over at Daytona and Talladega, maybe they have a pad for the winner. Maybe the winner goes on that pad and they measure the front and rear and they make a drama out of it.
Mm-hmm.
And your winner, ladies and gentlemen, is Parker Kligerman. He's going to go to the inspection pad. That's what they do. Charlie, that's what they do for dirt racing. So let's do the scenario just like you said. Parker Kligerman wins the race last night. He's going to go to the pad, ladies and gentlemen. Let's see before he goes to victory lane. Oh, no, ladies and gentlemen, look, the whole world can see Parker Kligerman's rear of his car is low. He's not your winner. And they push him up. Then they bring Corey Heim up. Corey Heim's legal. That's your real winner. I think that's what they got to do. That's my new deal. I think, and Good Time is right. That's what they do at Volusia. That's what they do at the dirt tracks. We got to get it to where we know who the winner is, Charlie. I agree with you. We got to know who the winner is before they do all those pictures in victory lane because they got all those pictures of victory lane. What are they going to do with the pictures from victory lane? Got to go to the scales for the green light. You know, Susan says, I think that, you know, it is very, very hard to inspect the cars. You know, dirt racing, it's called droop. It's basically same thing as a quarter panel height. I'd like to see NASCAR go, okay, there's three things that can be part of our broadcast. The race is over. Let's follow the car. The height in the front is good. The height in the rear is good. On the scales it goes, he's your winner. So, yeah, I like everything you said there, Charlie, because when you went back to last year when Alex Bowman was considered light an hour after the race, and now we put Joey Logano in. Somehow, you know, NASCAR is listening to this right now. Somehow we need to make another TV show. The race is over, but let's watch him go through inspection. But only these inspection points that make him legal. You know, the things that take 2 minutes. 2 minutes. And that could be the weight of the car and the height. And we would have known last night because I love Parker Kligerman. Great guy. So much to say about him. Talent. Parker Kligerman, he's a whole nother story where I told Parker, I said, Parker, this is so weird. You're such a great race car driver, but you're going to do TV. You know, he's been in and out of that deal twice. This is the second time now. You know, he quit racing, but the truck race was an off race deal, Charlie.
Mm-hmm.
He quit the Xfinity series. And so that's the only way I can see to answer your question is to do a whole nother copy dirt racing, because that's what they do. Your winner last night, ladies and gentlemen, is Devin Moran. He's going to the scales. His weight is good. Now he's checking the droop. He's your winner. Yeah. So, yeah.
And I saw a couple people say this even. I'm sure you have maybe stories of this where if Kligerman in his victory lap, if he just rams that thing into the wall, then nobody knows, right? You can't measure, right?
Boy, that all started with Jimmy Johnson, you know, and his crew chief. So, you know, Jimmy Johnson wins Talladega, and they catch Chad Knaus on radio going before the race. So the before the race even starts, they don't know that the camera is on.
Mm-hmm.
So Fox has an in-car camera. And I don't know who leaked this, but there's Chad before the race bending over the door going, okay, remember now, if we win this race, you got to wreck the car. Now that wasn't made for TV, but they found it. So, you know, I do feel bad for NASCAR in this instant that they're just constantly trying to screw NASCAR. The teams are constantly trying to cheat.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Constantly. And then when NASCAR goes, you're cheating, then the fans get mad. I don't like NASCAR. Well, first of all, Alex was light. Parker's rear end was too low. And there's 30 people watching the car go through tech. It's like Parker's ass end of his truck was too low. If you don't do nothing about it, it's going to ricochet through the garage area. That, you know, because there's people watching. You know, you can watch these cars go through tech, Charlie. You know what I mean? You can watch it. So it's there for everybody to see. So if you don't say Parker Kligerman's truck was too low, then it's NASCAR's fixed. You know, so yeah, that's the bad. That's the bad is that, you know, so yeah, all right. So Charlie, we have put to bed the Eric Jones deal. We have put to bed the Parker Kligerman deal. What else bad do you have?
Okay, so I don't know if it's bad or awkward or just moving on, basically. So Pitbull. I'll read the tweet. This is from yesterday, the 14th. Happy Valentine's Day, by the way, everybody. Pitbull says, ending partnership with Trackhouse Racing. Over the past 5 years, we've made history by introducing NASCAR to a whole new audience and falling in love with NASCAR fans at the same time. We have made the decision to terminate the partnership with Trackhouse Racing, effective immediately. We're looking forward to performing on the sport's biggest stage this Sunday, the Daytona 500. It is a true honor, Dale. So that was pretty matter of fact, though, right? And the timing is kind of awkward. And it wasn't like Pitbull said, hey, I want to thank Trackhouse for our great partnership, and it was awesome. It felt pretty awkward to me, Kenny, as I'm reading that. What do you think?
I have inside sources, and they said to me, interesting to hear what your take is on this, Kenny. Like they were reaching out to me, wanting to know what my take is.
Mm-hmm.
So I've got a text here, and it's just easier for me to read this out. This was my point of view. I said this. My point of view is this. Now, this is my opinion. This is not fact. Respond right here. We will wait. You know, Team Trackhouse is going to come out. Will they come out? Will they say what happened? This smells to high heaven. Smells like there was an argument.
Yeah.
Okay, so I don't want, you know, Justin, if you're watching this, Justin Marks, don't get mad at me. We're just talking. So don't get mad at me, okay, Justin Marks? I love you. I think you're awesome. Here's what I think. With my experience, I don't think Pitbull brought any money. My opinion. They most likely used Pitbull to try to get money.
Mm-hmm.
I think Team Trackhouse brought Pitbull in. He's a Latino. Daniel Suarez is a Latino. Latinos. Let's get some Latino money in here. Now they probably need money because Justin Marks is, holy moly. I mean, what is going on over there? It's getting to be where, like, you guys got 2 cars in the Cup Series. Now they're creating all these. It's like there's money flowing into Justin Marks and Team Trackhouse. I think they probably need money, and Pitbull said, that was not my deal. I don't got any money. And here's the reason I think that. And by the way, I was told I was 100% accurate. That's what I was told. I was told that I was accurate. And the reason I think that way was years ago, I'm not going to name names because he told me, but you remember you had Troy Aikman, Terry Bradshaw, you had all these football players coming in. Well, they never brought any money either, but they were hoping that them being famous was going to bring everybody in. It's like you and I having a hero. Albert Pujols is our man. Albert, oh, he's so famous. Well, Charlie's famous with us. Okay. What happens if I said my dirt car is owned by Albert Pujols? And in my mind, I think that means money's going to flow in. And then the fad wears off 2 years later and there's no money. My opinion is that Pitbull was there to help them gain popularity. And I think with what I see going on with Team Trackhouse, they must have more money than God because they got way more than these Cup teams. And I think they're looking for money. And I think Pitbull said, I ain't got no money. I'm out, boys. Now, Pitbull announces this himself. So by him announcing it himself, I think it's muddy, right? You know, what's Justin thinking right now? Justin Marks thinking, now do I got to make a statement? Who knows? He don't really got to do anything. All it did was force me to react. Why did one of the most famous singers in American history, Pitbull, I mean, look, I don't want to hear it that he's not famous. He's famous, okay? Worldwide. That's his nickname.
Mr. Worldwide.
Yeah. So that's what I think happened. I think they said, hey, we need some money. And I think Pitbull said, oh, that was not my deal, man. And Pitbull is going to do a pre-race concert for the Daytona 500. That's why I think Pitbull had to come out and say something. Because if Pitbull shows up at Daytona and does the concert before the race and he's not even nowhere near around Team Trackhouse,
yeah,
why don't you at your car? And it's like, oh, we split up last year. That's another thing I heard. Little Birdie told me they split up last year. Don't be getting mad at me. I'm just saying that's what people are telling me. But all this started with Pitbull coming out on his own. So, yeah, they got a mess on their hand right there.
And either way, to me, the Pitbull thing, it kind of reminds me a little bit of some of these ownership groups, like with Magic Johnson, right? Magic Johnson, he put some money in, don't get me wrong, like with the Dodgers and all that. And he's been the face of a lot of ownership groups. I think even with the football, right? With the Washington Commanders, I'm pretty sure. But he's not the main money guy, right? But he's the face. He's the one that's bringing all the money guys together, and he's the popular guy everybody loves. And I feel like Pitbull was kind of that a little bit with Trackhouse. To me, people always say everything ends badly or it's not going to end. I still think it seemed like a really positive thing. Like, I do think he probably brought new eyeballs to NASCAR. And for what Trackhouse needed at the time, he was probably the perfect guy. But he's not the perfect guy right now.
Charlie, well said. I agree with you. Everything is good. It just cannot end in the public eye. If Pitbull's out, don't say nothing.
Yeah.
But I think what forced Pitbull to say something is he's going to do the pre-race concert. You know what I mean? I mean, it's no different than A-Rod is going to own the Minnesota basketball team. I just read where. Yeah. So here's Alex Rod. Is he really going to own it? Now that's the next question. because this is the new fad or these great now, one thing we know, one thing we can de-bullshit, Michael Jordan owns 2311 because that guy's we already watched, the movie, and it's reported Michael Jordan is making right now $44 million a year, and he don't do nothing. So yeah, that's it.
Okay, how about, and then we have a lot of positive to talk about too, but I think this is the last of my my negative section. How about just so NASCAR announces, and it was a timing thing, but about the appeal to the lawsuit. And I really don't think, maybe I'm going to be wrong, I don't think the lawsuit is really going to hang over the season that much. That's what I think. But we had some news this week. And then also, you've talked about this a lot. You talked about it on Herman Schrader. Just the fact that NASCAR, Steve Phelps said, hey, we're looking for an outside equity partner to come in. We got to speed up our global expansion. When I heard that, I wondered, how much does the lawsuit also play into this, with the fact that if NASCAR, maybe, who knows, but if they have to take a little bit of a loss legally over the next year and their economic model has to change a little bit and maybe be more pro teams as opposed to pro NASCAR, is this kind of the perfect time? That coupled with the fact that some of the family members are getting older, is it just kind of the perfect time to start to seek outside partners and kind of start the process of getting out a little bit?
All good stuff and all kind of tied together, right? First of all, the timing. Somebody said NASCAR couldn't time this because it was the way it was, right? But okay, so what I mean by this is 1 hour before NASCAR Cup qualifying on Wednesday, 1 hour before Cup qualifying, it is announced that NASCAR appealed the judge's decision to let 2311 and Front Row operate as charters. Okay, we can't control that. But I'm like, man, that's bad timing because everybody's reporting it. You got Bob Pockras, Jeff Gluck, Matt Weaver. Everybody's like, oh, this is weird timing. 1 hour before Daytona qualifying, it is announced that NASCAR is appealing the judge's decision. NASCAR's pissed. Let's be honest. NASCAR's mad at Michael Jordan and them. They don't, NASCAR does not like it that Michael Jordan won the appeal. Let's be very clear. NASCAR's losing on all this. And we don't like it, right? Because it's our sport. Remember, we talked about this. It's going to be a comedy, right? Even though it's a very serious situation. Watch this, Charlie. I'm going to play it out. Here's the fans. I hate NASCAR. What do you mean you're suing NASCAR? I don't like you. It's like the fans are like, let me talk bad about NASCAR. But if you really do go after NASCAR, I'm going to be mad at you. And that's what kind of went on here. The fans don't like Front Row and Michael Jordan going after NASCAR. And the problem right now is the optics. NASCAR's losing at everything. Now we're still going to court. Remember, the original suit is NASCAR is a monopoly. And they don't want anything. They just want, I guess, I haven't read it, but I guess they want NASCAR to become less of a monopoly. Okay, so that's number one. We just addressed that. Bad timing. 1 hour before Daytona Cup qualifying for the Daytona 500. Now, this one that you brought up, they could time. Steve Phelps comes out the week of the Daytona 500 and says, we want to sell. What? Now you're making, okay. So I have sources on this too. What I hear is that NASCAR is not happy with their marketing program. And if you notice, NASCAR's really picked it up lately with, I really feel that they watched how the president of America won the presidency. He won it going on Joe Rogan. He won it, with these podcasts. NASCAR has taken notice. NASCAR's been very busy on TikTok. We all know that. NASCAR's been all in on TikTok over the last couple of years. Now NASCAR comes out this morning. Let me read it to you. Hold on here.
And while you find it, by the way, I watched that documentary they made the other night, that's So Damn Close, about the Atlanta finish. That was pretty cool. I know NASCAR wants more of that, those docuseries, right? The Netflix and all that. It's a great way to market the sport.
Yeah. So Charlie Marlow, I sent you this. Here it is. I don't know why it's not in my. I think I took a picture and sent it to you, but didn't put it in my pictures. But yeah, hold on 1 minute. For some reason, I didn't take a picture of it. Bottom line is Adam Stern reports that NASCAR is going to focus on YouTube now.
Mm-hmm.
That is per Adam Stern, everybody. NASCAR is really going to focus on YouTube. Charlie, they coming after me and you. Because me and you been on YouTube. Yeah, bring it, right? But so let me find what my source told me about why NASCAR wants to sell. This is worth the wait. We don't have to talk every second. We can let this breathe a little bit.
I'll tell you what, I can read comments while you're looking for it.
Go ahead, Charlie.
We got Good Time. Good Time says NASCAR would love for the junior car to win the 500. Justin Allgaier. A feel-good story for sure. Just Delightful says TikTok doesn't equal Rogan. Different audiences, but I mean, TikTok, huge audience, obviously, with younger folks.
I got it right here. Yep. Okay. This is what my source told me that's in NASCAR. In the last few months, NASCAR has cleaned house in sales and marketing positions. Some feels it's because they aren't doing a good job. But that paves the way for a media company to control those aspects of the business without messing up the core product. Hold on. Just like Liberty did with F1. So a media company called Liberty owns Formula One. So there's two prongs here. We don't know the real story, but my sources tell me, number one, well, I just read it to you. They're looking to raise money to be better with media. The other one that sounds more viable to me is Jim France is of age. Lessa Kennedy is done. Ben Kennedy is young. And when you really break it down, here's what's sad. None of them are having children. Let's go down the roll right here. Does Ben Kennedy have any children? Is he married? No. Does Jim France have any kids? No. Lessa Kennedy's the only one left. And all she had was Ben. Brian France is out. There's nobody left. And Jim's of age. Les has had enough. So if you really boil it down, all you got left is Ben. And Ben better get married and have some kids because there's nobody left. Straighten me out right here. Am I wrong? Is there any Francis left? You know, I said what I said. I mean it nice. I don't mean it mean. They could be selling because of that. Maybe there's nobody left. So I gave you both for everybody to chew on. And all right. We talked about it, and I think that's all the bad, Charlie.
Well, let me ask you this though, because I do have a question about that. Yeah. And I agree. I mean, look, whatever is healthy for the sport overall to keep it going. If you have to go global, I understand that'll probably piss off a few domestic fans here. Now, you're probably going to take races from tracks that have two, but we've seen some tracks lose their race. My question to you is this: what do you think is a realistic international schedule that you could actually pull off that would be good for business and not piss off everyone? I'm thinking if you already have a Mexico race, that makes sense. Does it even make that much sense from a revenue standpoint in Canada? I don't know. I mean, could you do one race in Europe maybe one in Japan. I mean, you can't have these dudes going back and forth different continents. I mean, even the NFL doesn't do that. I know they go over to London, but like you can't have these guys be in F1, right?
So here's my answer to that. It depends who this new automaker is that Steve Phelps says it's coming in. Let's say, see, I think all this global initiative is all about the automaker.
Okay.
Let's say it's Honda. Let's say it's Honda. Honda's coming in. Where's Honda from? Japan?
Japan. Okay,
so they got to go to Japan. What racetrack are they going to use? It's going to be Suzuka Circuit. Now I raced there. We ran 3 years in a row. No, hold on. We ran Suzuka Circuit the first 2 years. The third year we went to Motegi, but Motegi got destroyed by an earthquake. So Motegi isn't even worth it. It's not even there anymore. So I think this whole global initiative is let's just say it's Honda. Okay. Let's just say it, just for, to further the conversation. Honda goes, we want to be a car maker, but we'd like you to race here in Japan. Well, we've already been to Japan. But I'm like you, are you going to run in Asia? You're going to run in Europe? If you're going to go to Europe, I went to Europe. I just went to the UK. I just landed in London. It was 7 hours, 45 minutes from Chicago. So, and Chicago's about 2 hours away from the coast. If you took off from New York, you could get to London in 6 hours, 6.5 hours. So I feel like, it's logistics. Are we going to put these cars in crates and put them on a ship container? Takes a month to get over there? No, I think you're going to have to put them in global shipping. You're going to have to put them in big jumbo jets.
Mm-hmm.
Who's going to pay for that? Because it's pretty expensive. Somebody's going to pay for it. So my answer to you is the global. Why is NASCAR? Why is Steve Phelps asphyxiated? Why is he obsessed with going global? I say it's because the automaker, I say Honda wants it, and he says there's another one. So I think Asia is Honda. If there's something in Europe, who is it? Aston. I'm hearing something weird like what is it? Aston Martin? I'm hearing all these things. But whatever you think, you got to be ready for both sides of America. You got to be ready for Asia. You got to be ready for Europe. And if they do that, you stop and think about, why does anybody want to grow? Because everybody wants to make money, right? All of you watching this right now, I'm talking to you. Yes, you're watching this right now. Do you want to make more money? 9 times out of 10, the answer is yes. Now, the only reason you say, no, I don't want to make any money, is because you're retired. You got a good job that's paying $90,000 a year. And your boss goes, if you're on the road every weekend, we'll give you 110. I know people that go, I'm happy with $90,000 a year. I don't want to make 110 because if I make more, I go into a different tax, deal, and I got to be gone every week. But 9 times out of 10, Charlie, people all want to make more money. And that's, and I've seen all of your comments here, everybody. And we all say it's all about the money. And it is. It's all about the money. So all I'm saying, part of our bad, very wild for Steve Phelps to come out. He wanted to make a point. Steve Phelps wanted everybody to hear this. So, that's the way I feel.
All right. Well, how about the good? There has been a lot of good as well, even if we maybe focus more time on the bad, because people like the spicy stuff. But
people love bad, so we give you your bad. We give you your bad. Yeah.
But the Dale Jr. story was obviously the story of qualifying into the duels. That was great. Justin Allgaier and the hugs and the interviews and his soundbite about his daddy at Daytona and how he found peace at the track. The ratings have been good, right, for qualifying and duels and all that. So there's a lot of positivity too. And I know you keep saying this, hey, NASCAR off to their best start and whatever it is, 20 years or so, and you're getting a little pushback. But
okay,
I don't know. I agree. I feel like there's a lot of positive vibes out there for Daytona.
Charlie, before I even respond to you, You and I are a team. Can you read two things for me? I
Sure.
sent you everything, and you have it too. Can you read the viewership for Cup qualifying on Wednesday night? And can you read the viewership for the duels last night?
Okay. So let's
Okay.
see. Let's go. We'll go
Yeah.
qualifying first. This is from Adam Stern. Says FS1 got 916,000 viewers for last night's Daytona 500 qualifying session that followed college basketball. That's up 12% from 821,000 for the comparable window last year. So that was qualifying.
That's
And
up.
then
That's up a lot.
that's up.
Okay, now read the viewership for the duels.
Okay, duels. I'm trying to find that one too. Hold on.
Jordan Bianchi, I sent it to you.
All right, Jordan Bianchi. Okay, here we go. This is Stern also. I'm sure you sent me one from Bianchi, but Stern says, let's see, FS1 scored a 1.836 million viewers for last night's duels at Daytona, up 12% from 1.640 million last year, and the best number for the event since 2018. So duels up 12%. And what do we say? That the qualifying was also up 12%, right?
Yeah. By the way, Elio Castroneves wrecked out already. He's wrecked twice. Okay. Let's get unofficial results. Okay, Brendan, Charlie, can I say who the winner of the ARCA race is or not?
For sure.
Okay, Brendan Queen. He runs Dale Jr.'s Cars Tour race. And I didn't see how it wrecked because I was, but this breaking news, everybody, we'll get right back to why NASCAR's off to its best start in 20 years. But they were fighting for the lead. Brendan Queen wins. I'm assuming it's that Queen. He won, and this Sawalich. These are two short track aces, and 97 Kitzmiller. Fourth is Scott, and fifth was Elio finished fifth. He must have wrecked crossing the start finish line. We'll wait for the replay here, but yeah, Brendan Queen, he's a hell of a driver. He wins a lot in Dale Jr.'s Cars Tour. So okay, let's get back to why NASCAR's off to its best start. For the duels last night, we had 1.8 million more people watching. That's up 12% from last year, but that's the best in 7 years, is what Jeff Gluck said.
Mm-hmm.
So, people were mad that on Thursday night, people were mad at me because I said how great NASCAR's doing. They were mad at me. They were mad that Eric Jones didn't win. I'm right. And I'm not going to apologize for being right. And here's the stats to prove it. Charlie, when you listen to this, when you say 1.8 million more people are watching the Cup duels, say to yourself, 1.8 million people. Holy moly. That is a lot of people. Now, NASCAR is off to its best start. Now, yeah, sure, there's some juicy storylines out there, but NASCAR is way better right now than they've ever been. And let me be clear. NASCAR took all the seats out of the grandstands. We know that NASCAR will never be back to the old days. So that's an old story. That's 20 years old. We're going on 20 years now. NASCAR took all the seats out of the grandstands. They only fit 120,000 people now. There's only 100,000 people at the day. Back in the day, we had 200,000 people. Guys, that's an old deal. We don't even talk like that anymore. The only reason I bring it up is for my older viewers. So got to get that out of your mind. It's no different than disco music. You all smashed all the disco records. You don't like disco music anymore, which I think is ridiculous. I love disco music. So, see, this is life. All I'm saying is NASCAR is still standing. They're still getting billions of dollars. They ain't going anywhere. You're right. They weren't as big as they used to be, but that's just like old news. So right here, 1.8. Charlie, Busch Stadium, sold out at 47,000 people.
Mm-hmm.
We're saying 1.8 million more people watched a race on Thursday night. If that don't tell you NASCAR's kicking ass, I don't know what to say. Okay? So they are back. NASCAR's off to its best start in 20 years. I told everybody why, and that's that. That's all there is. And the racing, Charlie, that race at Bowman Gray, oh my God, what a race. Feel good, short track. We love the short track people. Short track, dirt racing, short track. It was everything you wanted. It was short track. They were interviewing the drivers. The woods were right there. Denny Hamlin's sitting on top of a hill. And Denny, you're on top of a grass hill here. You know, it was short track as you can get. So that shut all those people up, right? Then what happens is they go to Daytona, and we will talk about this. You got Dale Jr. back as a car owner, and they have been begging him. They've been begging Dale Jr., please come as a car owner. Then both the duels were, Charlie, door handle to door handle, photo finishes. For that reason, NASCAR is killing it right now. Okay, let's say this. I hate NASCAR. Well, you might hate it, but you're watching it. And 1.8 million people just tuned in on a friggin' Thursday night. So that's what I meant. Yeah, and let me say this. That is the Brennan Queen that won the Cars Tour Championship. So, Charlie, I just think NASCAR is off to its... Now, the Dale Jr. effect, that's a whole nother story, but I just defended myself on why I say NASCAR is off to its best start. I just gave you the receipts.
And I think I remember seeing the graphic and the data from last year too. Let's be real. Even if you're somebody who's kind of down on NASCAR had some really bad weather luck, if you remember, especially early in the season, and Daytona. Now, look, they've already moved the Daytona 500 up an hour to get away from that. But I mean, like, if you have to start the Daytona 500 on a Monday, and I feel like there was a bunch of them last year, just kind of crappy weather situations. I know they did the whole thing with the Clash even. Remember, they did it on a Saturday, right? Because there was really bad weather situations. That's something NASCAR can't control. But if they have some good weather luck also early in the season, it can get that ball rolling momentum-wise. I remember when the ratings came out last year, and correct me if I'm wrong, even if the ratings at the end ended up being either slightly above or kind of the same, NASCAR at least parroted or championed that as, look, this is actually pretty good from where we started because we had such crap weather luck in the first, whatever it was, third of the season.
Yeah, and I agree with you once again. Here's what's crazy. In life, we have to get lucky every once in a while. So NASCAR says, we're going to run the Clash at the Coliseum in California where there's great weather, right? And the weather was crap. It rained. So they say, okay, let's go where the weather's usually going to be junky, going to be 20, 30 degrees. They go to Winston-Salem, North Carolina, and the weather's perfect. I mean, it was winter weather. It was 40 degrees. Everybody was cold. So, Charlie, I agree with you, and I'm glad you brought that up. You know, weather is everything. And here's why weather's everything. Because the fans get so damn mean that if it rains out, the fans are like, NASCAR made it rain. I hate NASCAR.
Yep.
It's like, what? So, yes, you're right. NASCAR needed that good weather at Bowman Gray and got great ratings for that, got great ratings. So, yeah, but once again, that Dale Jr. effect. Did Dale Jr., did that? Because when I go on the Kyle Petty charity ride, you know what all the old fans say to me? We're on this ride because we love Richard Petty and Kyle Petty. But they don't hate NASCAR. You know what they say? We just don't watch it anymore because they're sad. These are 65, 75-year-old people. They're sad that their guys are gone. You know, Rusty's gone. Jeff Gordon's gone. Because, see, Dale Earnhardt Sr., he introduced Jeff Gordon. So Gordon was part of the old group. You know what I mean? So I just really think that Dale Jr., simply being a car owner and being so happy, But they did not know, NASCAR did not know that Dale Jr. was going to be on TV after Justin Allgaier made that race. So I'm going to go 50-50 on this, Charlie. I'm going to say that it didn't hurt having Dale Jr. as a car owner. But where Dale Jr. really showed up was after the race. Remember, live on Channel 2, like rabbit ears. That was that on FS1 or was that on Channel 2?
FS1 had the broadcast.
Okay, so still, a lot of people got FS1. But my point is, Charlie, Dale Jr. showed up after the race, after the whole night, right? I mean, after that race, the first duel. So it's not like people are tuning in to see Dale Jr. They had to watch the race and they saw him afterwards. That's kind of my point. So he didn't hurt, but I don't think it was all Dale Jr. He didn't hurt. It did not hurt, but I don't think it was all Dale Jr.
Yeah, I think, and you're talking about watching on the broadcast, but I feel like the storyline afterwards, because, the duels, for example, Bubba wins the first one. Okay. The second one, you had the controversy with Eric Jones. We already talked about that. But when you talk about just the storytelling afterwards, that's where Dale Jr. steals the show. And the hugs with Allgaier and his great quote about his dad. That's where Dale Jr. he's still running this sport. I know we're biased because we're partners with Dirty Mo Media, but he also is able to, through the Florence race back in whenever it was, late fall, to when they unveiled the Chris Stapleton car with the Traveler whiskey, right? The fact that even the qualifying, I mean, it was probably good for NASCAR that Allgaier didn't qualify in on Wednesday because it gave people a huge reason to watch on the duels when they did get in.
And let me say this. I just really feel this way. I got to get this out of my head. Bubba Wallace winning the Twin 150. See, there's so many people that don't like Bubba Wallace, and we all know why. But anyway, Bubba Wallace winning makes people tune in because they're mad at him. They don't like him. See, it's like social media. If you don't like me, why are you following me? See, when people don't like somebody, Charlie, they tune in. It's a weird phenomenon.
It's like Howard Stern back in the day.
Right? I don't like Denny Hamlin. I'm going to tune into this race. Hopefully he wrecks out. It's psychological 101, right? Okay, now, I just wanted to say, let's not gloss over Bubba winning the first race because that people don't like him. Now, Dale Jr., what I liked what you said is Dale Jr. comes across as his country old boy, talks like this and everything, smart as a whip. His father, Dale Sr., sent him to military school. Dale Jr. is so smart. You're right. Somebody said after the race in the media center, they said, Dale Jr., how can you come back here after this track killed your father? And oh my God, that whole deal made the sport go through the roof because Dale Jr. said, this track did not kill my father. And Dale Jr. said, I find peace coming here. It makes me, I want to be where my dad got killed. I want to be at the track that my dad loved. He said, I'm at peace with Daytona Speedway. And if you remember, after Senior got killed in the wreck, Junior came back and won. Remember that Pepsi July race with Mikey Waltrip? So many people wanted to hear that. Junior, why do you like Daytona when it killed your daddy? And he answered it beautifully. What a great soundbite. I mean, I can't believe that our local station, Channel 2, I can't believe that's a human drama quote. This Daytona killed my dad, but I find peace coming here because my dad, Dale Sr., loved this racetrack. And he said, and Dale Jr. said, I know a lot of people don't grieve like that. Dale Jr.'s like, usually wherever your loved one gets killed, you don't ever go there. Dale Jr.'s like, nope, I'm going there because that's where my dad was. And he loved Daytona. So, Charlie, I agree with you. The Dale Jr. effect. And the media, everybody knows this. And Dale Jr. is awesome. He's playing right along with it, Yes,
Yeah,
one world. Go ahead, Charlie.
one world.
Read that.
One world, one goal. He mimics your take. Says that whole comment by June Bug with Kelly sitting right there was a lovely, eloquent, heartfelt comment.
Yeah, and you know, one world, one goal. That's your call letters. If you are a NASCAR fan that you don't like NASCAR because Dale Sr. got killed, here's your opening to love it again because his son loves it. You know that if Dale Sr. could talk from heaven right now, he'd say, "Come on, everybody. I love NASCAR. I was going for it. You know, I was trying to, you know, it was a bad wreck. It was a bad situation. The wreck wasn't the problem. It was the angle. And we didn't have, I feel my hand on a Bible right now. If we would have had those damn soft walls, whatever walls you want to call them, I think Dale Sr. would be living today. But Dale Sr. did not die in vain. Because of his death, we've saved all these lives. That safer barrier is what they call it. I call it a softball because when you hit it, it's way softer. If that softball would have been there, Dale Sr. would be living to this day. So, yes, I agree, Charlie. Yes, and I think people should forgive NASCAR because, you know, Dale Jr. has, and he told you all. Yeah, that wreck, let me see here. Hold on. We're switching gears, everybody. This is at the end of the race. Oh, man, they just wrecked. I think it was the white flag. Somebody turned somebody. Elio's having a bad. Elio Castroneves is going to be like, get me out of Daytona. He has wrecked everything. He wrecked every time. And I feel bad because I love Elio. And I'm not picking on Elio because of my brother Mike. Let's get that straight. All I'm saying is when you haven't done something and you go to do it and you wreck everything, you know, Elio has wrecked everything he's been in. Not his fault. Great driver. I love him. Great dancer. But I'm sure Elio is going to be like tagging the back of the Daytona 500. He don't want to wreck in the Daytona 500. He's already he destroyed the ARCA car. He destroyed the Cup car. They had to put a front end, an ass end on. So Elio is probably like, get me out of Daytona. And here's the worst part. This blew my mind when I heard it. Do you know since Elio took the worldwide provisional, they aren't allowed for any money?
Yeah.
Elio could win the Daytona 500 and he gets no money because that's the deal. They said, we'll give you the provisional. If you use it, you don't get any money. I hope Justin Marks and everybody at Trackhouse got some money because, buddy, they are spending it. And I don't know if it went the way they thought it would, Charlie. I think it's working opposite. I think Elio taking the provisional is actually pissed fans off.
Mm-hmm.
And here's why.
Drivers.
Oh, you took the word. Tell me what the driver said, Charlie.
Well, it was what? I mean, Martin Truex. I think of the guys who were the most vocal was Truex. And obviously Truex gets in qualifying, but he was the one. Didn't he say it was something? Was it slap in the face, something like that?
He said it was a slap in the face. Elio, you're right. Martin Truex was very bitter. He said this is a slap in the face of Jimmy Johnson, 7-time NASCAR champion, and he don't get a provisional. But a guy that was a world-class driver. Now, that's what these drivers said. My point of view is this. I don't think – see, 2 months ago, I was on this show, and I said, it don't bother me, and it still don't bother me. But we thought that Elio coming in was going to put eyes on the sport. I think it's done the opposite. I think it's kind of pissed some people off. Yeah, so I love Elio. Love him. He's very nice to me. I raced with him in the SRX series. Great guy. He can't help it. But boy, it is. He finished 5th, but he destroyed that damn car. Wow. All right, Charlie. And we're doing all good stuff. Everyone's watching. The Dale Jr. effect. The races have been side by side. We talked about the Parker Kligerman he was low. Mm-hmm. Charlie, I think that's everything, buddy. And we're at 1 hour.
Yeah. Yep. I'm with you. I was just going to say anything else because we're at 65 minutes. It's been great. We've had what? 3,800 people total watching. We got almost 500 watching right now. And thank you to JEGS also. And then when we're done, obviously this here is YouTube, but when we're done, let's see, I always miss it. Boom.
Yeah, right there.
When we're done, I will quickly edit this and I'll put it on podcast for people as well.
Yeah. And remember, everybody, this lives on YouTube. Charlie, thank you. And
thank you, buddy.
I just want to say this, everybody. We thought we would do this because there was so much news, right? Yeah. Me and Charlie talked. We said, we better get this off our mind right now because tomorrow's the big one. You know, the Daytona 500. Hard to mix this news in with the Daytona 500. So good job, Charlie. Thank you, everybody. Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you all. Please comment, like, subscribe. Thank you, Herm. Thank you, Jags. Thank you, everybody, for watching. We'll see you tomorrow. And are we going to announce it? Are we doing a live after Daytona? Got to, right?
We got to. Remember what we learned. Watch this, everybody. Right. I take this thing and I go, hey, everybody, man, this is awesome. And
Sounds good.
I think I'll be right here.
Yeah.
Because I got the TV right there at Rusty's place. Rusty didn't have a TV. Hey, does this sound a lot better when I go like this?
I mean,
Hello,
sounds
everybody.
great.
How you doing?
Yeah.
It's a good microphone.
Yep. All right, buddy. We'll see you, everybody. We'll see you tomorrow after the checkered flag at the Daytona 500. See you later.